Today, we'll be having a recap of a spin-off anime named Vivid Strike, which was released last fall of 2016. It's just an anime that explains about the search for strength without noticing the value of relying on others as well as being on good terms with previous friendships. The story is kinda okay, which delivers some good points, but most of its episodes are just repeated dialogue, but then again, its concept is interesting. So here's the recap of Vivid Strike. The anime starts off by introducing two characters, named Fuuka Reventon and Rinne Berlinetta, where they encounter a bunch of bullies harassing them. Fuuka protects Rin, but isn't satisfied with her strength as she wants to protect those dear to her, but good times don't last as their friendship ended sooner than expected. Time skip to the future, we see Fuuka looking to fight some punks near a port. After sustaining some injuries in the fight with several punks, the police arrived and the fight ended, and all ran away. Fuuka met Einhard, whom she almost punched, but Einhard was able to retaliate. Fuuka was then sent to a hospital to treat her injuries. Then she receives an invitation from Einhard to head to the Nakajima gym afterwards. Einhard recognizes Fuuka's potential as a martial artist and gives her a part-time position at the gym. Despite her hate for martial arts after losing a fight to her old friend Rin, Fuuka accepts the position and begins as a sparring partner for Vivio and her friends. Fuuka was shocked by how strong they were, and she lost every sparring fight. After learning that Vivio is the one who interrupted Rinne's winning streak, Fuuka challenges her to another sparring battle, wherein, during the battle, Fuuka's determination made her vow to quit running away and instead focus on becoming stronger, as she lands a strong hit on Vivio, but Fuuka still lost the fight. Now, Fuuka sleeps in a nearby apartment, which the president took her in as long as she trains and works for the gym. Every morning when Haru, also known as Einhard, arrives to the gym, she and Fuuka go for a morning jog, where Fuuka realizes that she's a very timid person. Haru would often teach her some techniques in martial arts that could help her in the long run. Fuuka works at the reception's desk during the mornings and begins her training in the afternoon when Yumi-san arrives. Now, Fuuka becomes used to working at the Nakajima gym, while also receiving martial arts instruction from Einhard and her pals. The girls quickly begin training in power mode. Which allows them to turn into adults, and learn that Fuuka possesses a high degree of magic. That's right, there's magic! And after obtaining invitations to see Rinne's semi-final match, Nove or Nove shows Fuuka footage of Rinne's past matches, with Fuuka confessing that her feud with Rinne began after she insulted one of her opponent's abilities. Rin, or Rinne, I'm just gonna stick to calling her Rin, seems to be well pampered by her parents, seeing her in a big mansion where she trains and sleeps. The girls now arrive at the arena, where the match will be held, but moments before the match, they had a talk about what Rin's goals for doing martial arts. Then they assemble in the arena to see Rinne's semi-final match against Carrie Tercel. Tercel hopes to at least be a decent fighter to Rinne. But she is overwhelmed by Rinne's strength, in which the fight finishes as soon as it began. All thanks to Rinne's unwavering fighting style. Following her match, Rinne expresses her ambition to defeat Einhard, Vivio, and Miura in what she believes would be her final under 15 tournaments, which surprises her when Fuuka declares her decision to participate as well. Then Fuuka stumbles across Rinne, then asks her about why she's pushing herself to do martial arts, to which she answers angrily about not being able to protect others due to her horrible past and couldn't act tough like Fuuka did. She then declares that she is determined to display her strength at the event. Rinne becomes the talk of her class as they congratulate her match yesterday, but Rinne gives the cold shoulder about it. Then Yumina Enclave, Einhard's friends, tries to gather information about Rinne's past, then informs Fuuka of the circumstances that have led to Rinne's present demeanor. Rinne was adopted into the Berlinetta family 4 years ago, and she then receives the love that every family member deserves. A day later, and she was given the device Scuderia, which her adoptive grandpa created, and as time went by, her grandfather grew sick. Fortunately, Rinne was there to keep him company. However, when Rinne gained popularity in her new school, but because of her athletic abilities, she became a target of bullying. The bullies grew unrelentless towards Rinne, mistreating her device and, ultimately, prevented her from answering an emergency call as her grandfather was about to die. And as soon as Rinne found out, she blamed herself for her grandfather's death. In spite, she took revenge on her bullies, hurting them brutally and vowing to become stronger. The bullying incident became a major story on the national news, following the incident, which was settled outside of court. Rinne had a realization that she does not belong to a wealthy family, and all she does is bring trouble to her home. She decided to leave her house, but was abducted by thugs headed by the brother of one of the bullies she had beaten up, and a random passerby decided to catch up with the thugs to try and save Rinne. As they arrived, the thugs beat up Rinne, but was saved by a person named Jill Stolas, who became her martial arts coach and helped her gain her strength. After hearing all what Yumina said, Fuuka, convinced that Rinne's situation is her own, yet wanting to assist her, resolves to beat her and put her in the right path. A few days later, Fuuka obtains her device, Huracan, which looks like a partner that can fuse with Fuuka when a fight begins in the ring. Now she begins more advanced sparring against tournament experienced fighters. The girls continue training for their upcoming tournament, and Fuuka manages to place first in her qualifiers. The tournament placements are released, with Miura scheduled to face Rinne in the first round. Miura spends the night before the event at Fuuka's apartment, expressing her wish to battle Vivio one more time before graduating from the under 15 category. As the competition begins, Both Vivio and Fuuka win their first round fights with quick knockouts. Now for the main event, which is Miura vs Rinne. Miura wins an early edge against Rinne, knocking her down twice with a variety of attacks and counter hits. As the fight goes on, the girls wonder why Rinne kept on going even though she's been knocked out at least 3 times already. That's when Vivio realizes something. As Miura brings out her sword draw technique in the hopes of getting a knockout blow, Vivio realizes that following her defeat in the summer camp, Rinne has been strengthening her defense, managing to withstand Miura's attacks. Rinne delivers a powerful blow that shatters Miura's ribs, forcing Nove to throw in the towel. After Einhard easily wins her first round battle. The girls check in on Miura, who is quietly disappointed with her defeat. As Vivio decides to spend the night exercising, she and the others reflect on how she and Nave originally started training, and what had happened since. This part of the episode is mostly about the girls reflecting on their strength and will to win. On the next day of the event, Vivio squares up against Rinne, and Rinne's resolve is clear, as she wants to be stronger for her grandfather, as she has already disappointed a lot of people in the past. During the fight, she unleashes numerous fast punches. Rinne quickly launches a tremendous counterattack, but Vivio breaks free, declaring her resolve to win and maybe make friends with her. After a short break, the second round starts as Vivio continues to take control of the battle in the second round, with Rinne trying to keep up with her speed as the girls kept watching their fight. They realized that both of them had improved quite a lot since last year. In the third round, however, Rinne gets a direct strike to the face, allowing her to perform a powerful counterattack that inflicts significant damage on Vivio. Rinne was able to knock Vivio down, and everybody thought the fight was over. As Vivio tries to reflect on the past, she is determined to stand up again. Despite the injury, Vivio manages to get back up, and the battle resumes. Vivio gets pressured by a flurry of attacks by Rinne, but suddenly, Vivio changes her posture and beats Rinne with a knockout onslaught, dealing enough damage to force her to withdraw from the finals. Fuuka prepares for her next fight as Rinne and Jill are unhappy about their loss. Both Fuuka and Einhard win their battles and went to the finals, where they will face off against one another. Meanwhile, Rinne has shut herself in after the defeat against Vivio. Nave meets Jill in the hospital, and they learn from Victoria that Rinne intends to leave martial arts. Hearing Fuuka's resolve to still fight Rinne, Einhard offers Rinne the opportunity to have a title match against her. That is, if she can defeat Fuuka. Accepting Einhard's proposal, Rinne arrives at Lutecia's training ground for a no-holds-barred match against Fuuka. The fight starts off as if Fuuka seems to be overwhelmed by Rinne's strength, but was able to retaliate and land a strong blow on her, which ends the episode. With the two girls constantly trading punches, Fuuka obtains the upper hand by using techniques and methods she learned when sparring with her friends. Despite Jill's wanting to throw in the towel, Rinne is determined to fight back. While Rinne remains focused on her obsession in the cliché fashion of gaining strength and remembering her grandfather, Fuuka tries to reason with her, reminiscing about their time together at the orphanage. Rinne is certain that her biggest enemy is herself, declares that if she wins, Fuuka must cease meddling in her affairs. As the match continues, Jill reflects on when she initially began teaching Rinne, regretting not being able to save her from her self-inflicted suffering. Despite being overwhelmed by Fuuka's strength and her own wavering heart, Rinne recalls all of her tough training with Jill, and responds with an exceptionally strong uppercut that outperforms the field safety setting. With both fighters no longer bearing bitterness against one another, the girls resolve to settle matters with an all-out fist battle. As Rinne finally reflects on everything she has done and accepts that she can be happy and content with the presence of others, especially Fuuka, Fuuka wins the bout by knockout, relieved that the light has returned to Rinne's eyes. Fuuka wakes up with Rinne beside her, realizing that everything is finally over, and they agree to come to good terms. Following the fight, Rinne speaks with Jill, expressing that she plans to continue competing while training under her. Later, Fuuka and Rinne spend some quality time together, exchanging messages with people who saw their duel and restoring their relationship. Afterwards, while Fuuka and Einhard prepare for their battle together, Jill apologizes to Nove and learns more about how she mentors her kids. On the day of the Winter Cup final, Rinne and Jill arrive to support Fuuka as she faces Einhard. That is how the season ends without knowing who won. I'd say the anime at least ends with Fuuka and Rinne coming into good terms, but not really satisfied on who really won with the fight against Fuuka and Einhard. With that being said, power and strength is not the answer to fix and forget about your past. You can't blame yourself for being too weak, as there will always be other people or at least one person who can lend you a helping hand. And that's it for this recap, and I hope you enjoyed Vivid Strike, even though it's not really the best, but it's kinda alright.